Good evening. Welcome to City Church's Good Friday service. And if you've been here to this service before, you know that this feels different. It feels different than a normal Sunday service. The feel is sort of the drama of, we try to put ourselves in the drama of what that first Good Friday would have been like, where they didn't know the end of the story. And so much of the power of what 3 days from now, what Easter Sunday is going to be, actually starts tonight. And Good Friday didn't start on Good Friday, and tonight really is not just a New Testament story. The first Good Friday really started all the way back in creation, Genesis. In Genesis 3:15, God promises that he's going to destroy evil, and that the destroyer of evil would come and be born through a woman. And so for generations, God's people knew two primary things. Number one is that humanity had a debt that it had to pay to God. And number two, that God had promised to somehow make a way for that debt to be paid. And one of the common mistakes that we can make in the West is that we think about this story as my story. This is an individualistic story, but this is not an individualistic story, it's a collective story. This isn't about my salvation or my flourishing, it's about our salvation and our flourishing. And Easter is the story of communal salvation. And it's because Good Friday is a story of communal burden. And before the cross, we bore the burden of sin. And so starting all the way back in Genesis with Abel, it was custom to have a sacrifice of a firstborn lamb by faith that you would offer to God. And the theme of giving God our first and our best is woven all throughout Scripture. And it foreshadows this need for a payment, some kind of payment of blood for sin. Because we are desperate for forgiveness, but we know that forgiveness always costs something. And so here's what we're going to be doing tonight. We're going to be weaving our way through the value of that firstborn. And we're going to be weaving our way through the value of the sacrifice. And so tonight is going to be us entering into a 3-part story of the Lamb.
Genesis 22, verses 1 through 8. Sometime later, God tested Abraham. He said to him, "Abraham." "Here I am," he replied. Then God said, "Take your son, your only son, whom you love, Isaac, and go to the region of Moriah. Sacrifice him there as a burnt offering on a mountain I will show you." Early the next morning, Abraham got up and loaded his donkey. He took with him 2 of his servants and his son Isaac. And when he had cut enough wood for burnt offering, he set out for the place God had told him about. On the 3rd day, Abraham looked up and saw the place in the distance, and he said to his servants, "Stay here with the donkey while I and the boy go over there. We will worship, and then we will come back to you." Abraham took the wood for the burnt offering and placed it on his son Isaac, and he himself carried the fire and the knife, and the 2 of them went on together. Isaac spoke up and said to his father, "Father." "Yes, my son," Abraham replied. "The fire and wood are here," Isaac said, "but where's the lamb for the burnt offering?" Abraham answered, "God himself will provide the lamb for the burnt offering, my son." And the 2 of them went on together. This is chapter 1 of the story of the Lamb. Back in Genesis 15, God promised Abraham that God's people would come through his family line, specifically through the firstborn son with Sarah. And about 25 years later, they have that son, Isaac, a miracle in itself because they were both well beyond childbearing years. And they had to wait so long for the promise. But a few years later, Abraham hears God tell him to sacrifice that same son that God had promised him. His only son, the son he loves more than anything, the son he waited all those years for, the son that the future of his entire family rests on. You ask yourself, is this cruel of God? How could he ask such a thing when he had already asked so much of Abraham before? And Abraham, in this region, in this time, he would have seen child sacrifice all around him in pagan tribes and pagan worship. But wasn't his God supposed to be different? Yet Abraham obeys. Just take this moment. Put yourself in Abraham's shoes. He takes Isaac, likely a tween or teenager at the time, takes him up on a mountain, having Isaac carry this same wood on which he would die. Could you do it? How could Abraham do this? What could have been going on in Abraham's mind? And we've seen many times before that Abraham followed this exact process when he was making an altar, cutting wood and sacrificing a lamb as an expression of worship, obedience, and atonement. Abraham knows full well that there is a debt to pay God and that God can call that in at any time. Both he and Isaac knows how this goes. Yet in a moment of radical obedience and trust, Abraham says that God will provide a lamb. He knows that God has made a specific promise about Isaac, and God will be true to his word. And Abraham, by faith, is saying that he hopes God will provide a sacrifice, a lamb, so that he doesn't have to sacrifice his innocent son. But imagine going through all of the familiar steps, all the same steps that you've taken before for this burnt offering. Putting the wood on your son's back, walking with him up the mountain, going through the steps of building the altar, arranging the wood, having him actually lay down on the altar, your heart beating, Abraham's heart beating so fast. And just at the moment that Abraham is about to obey this command fully, God stops him. And in the distance, Abraham looks off and he sees a ram. God provided another sacrifice so that Isaac could live. Breath of fresh air, right? Sigh of relief. And it sounds like a happy ending, but it's not the end of the story. It leaves us with so many questions. But the most important question we have to ask is, where is the lamb?
This is Exodus 12, 3-7 and 23-27. Tell the whole community of Israel that on the 10th day of this month, each man is to take a lamb for his family, one for each household. If any household is too small for a whole lamb, they must share one with their nearest neighbor, having taken into account the number of people who are there. You are to determine the amount of lamb needed in accordance with what each person will eat. The animals you choose must be year-old males without defect, and you may take them from the sheep or the goats. Take care of them until the 14th day of the month, when all the members of the community of Israel must slaughter them at twilight. Then they are to take some of the blood and put it on the sides and tops of the doorframes of the houses where they eat the lambs. When the Lord goes through the land to strike down the Egyptians, he will see the blood on the top and sides of the doorframes and will pass over the doorway. And he will not permit the destroyer to enter your houses and strike you down. Obey these instructions as a lasting ordinance for you and your descendants when you enter the land that the Lord will give you as he has promised. Observe this ceremony. And when your children ask you, "What does this ceremony mean to you?" tell them, "It is the Passover sacrifice to the Lord, who passed over the houses of Israel, of the Israelites in Egypt, and spared our homes when he struck down the Egyptians." Then the people bowed down and worshiped. This is chapter 2 of the story of the Lamb. The Israelites have been oppressed and enslaved by the Egyptians for generations, and finally God sends Moses to free them. After a series of plagues that show God's supreme power over all things, there's still one final night when the destroyer will come and take what is owed to him, the firstborn son. But God tells the Israelites that they have a way out of this destruction. They are to get an unblemished firstborn lamb, and they are to take care of it. And after a couple of weeks, they're to kill it, to spread its blood over their doors, and then to eat it. I want you to imagine what this preparation was like. For 2 weeks caring for something so innocent and so pure, only to know that it's going to die. It's so much harder than just picking a random lamb or goat at random that you have no connection to. And this is what can be really hard for us to grasp. Even though they were God's chosen people, the Israelites weren't exempt from what God was going to do. They had to be under the covering of the blood. If they didn't obey that command, if they had stepped out of their homes, they would have had the same demise as the Egyptians. So imagine that night, maybe even just close your eyes and picture what that night would be like. So much death and destruction. Hearing the cries of mothers as their children, their sons are being killed. The smells of all of the lambs that have been killed. It's a heavy night. It's a dark night. In every home across Egypt, there was either a dead son or a dead lamb. Imagine being the firstborn son of your household. You're sitting at the table there. And you're under the covering of the lamb's blood, but you look down and you see this dead lamb, knowing that it died so you wouldn't. And because through generations your family has told you there's a debt to pay and that God can call in that debt at any time, you look down and you know that that lamb got what you deserved. In this chapter of the story of the lamb, we see that there can be a substitute that can pay for the debt. But the story isn't over here. This is just a temporary and partial deliverance. It's pointing to an ultimate deliverance of a much bigger sin problem that requires a much bigger payment. God tells the Israelites to have this meal every year as a reminder of how he delivered them from the Egyptians. And so every year they have to kill a lamb, reminding them of this night. and as an act of gratitude for what God has done in rescuing them from slavery. But each year, they also remember that this isn't the full redemption that was promised them. There is still a future redemption, one that is more complete, that is still yet to come.
Luke 22, 14 to 20. When the hour came, Jesus and his apostles reclined at the table. And he said to them, I have eagerly desired to eat this Passover with you before I suffer. For I tell you that I will not eat it again until it finds fulfillment in the kingdom of God. After taking the cup, he gave thanks and said, Take this and divide it among you. For I tell you, I will not drink again of the fruit of the vine until the kingdom of God comes. And he took the bread and gave thanks and broke it. And he gave it to them, saying, This is my body, given for you. Do this in remembrance of me. In the same way, after supper, he took the cup, saying, This cup is the new covenant in my blood, which is poured out for you. This is chapter 3 of the story of the Lamb. God's people have been waiting for Messiah for generations, ever since Genesis 3. And he's given them a way to remember and to look forward to that day, Passover. And he's given them a symbol of atonement, the lamb that would be slaughtered. And yet, God's people, God's own disciples, they're looking for a military Messiah. And they're looking for someone to take down the real enemy of Rome. And their vision was too small, the scope was too limited. And every year, for generations, God's people celebrated the Passover dinner. And God gave them clear instructions with three primary parts of the dinner: the bread, the wine, and the lamb. And Jesus is leading his disciples through this meal one more time, really one last time. And this time is different. Instead of holding up the bread and saying, "This is the bread of our affliction," he holds up the bread and says, "This is my body." And what he's saying is, I am taking on the affliction of the world. And instead of talking about the Exodus when he pours out the wine and the freedom that was gained through the Exodus, he takes the wine and he pours it and he says, "This is my blood poured out for you. And I'm ushering in a new covenant with it." Now, if you were them, what would you think? What would be going through your mind if for centuries your ancestors have practiced this dinner in a certain way and Jesus starts talking about himself in that moment? I'm imagining at some point one or two or three of them started to question him or rebuke him and say, "Teacher, you're here to take down Rome. We didn't sign up to follow someone that's going to be afflicted and die, especially not voluntarily." And then I'm sure at one point, one and then another might have noticed there's something missing. There's the bread, and there's the wine, but where's the lamb? There was no lamb. Tim Keller said that there is no lamb on the table because the lamb was at the table. Jesus is the lamb. Jesus is the lamb that was always meant to come ever since Genesis 3. Jesus is the lamb that took the place of Abraham's firstborn. Jesus is the lamb that took the place of all of Israel's firstborn. Jesus is the lamb that came to take the firstborn's place. The lamb that saved the firstborn is now the lamb that's come to save the world. He is our salvation. He is our sacrifice. And he has once and for all removed the debt that has been owed ever since right after creation. And Jesus' death, that first Good Friday, is the hinge of human history. Jesus' death, which was marked by the blowing of a ram's horn, the blowing of a shofar, it shows that God's relationship with us is forever changed. Something had to pay for sin. Someone had to pay for sin. And we have desperately needed forgiveness. But like we said earlier, forgiveness comes at a cost. God took on that cost through Jesus. And yet there is actually one more chapter of the Lamb to come. It's the Lamb's second coming. And there is coming a day that we will be face to face with the Lamb in all of his glory on the throne. But for now, we get to simply behold the Lamb. Until that day, we get to look upon the Lamb and reflect on what he's done for us. So we're going to behold the Lamb for the rest of this evening. Behold means to gaze upon, to look with awe, to give attention towards. And as we behold, I want us also to remember. Remember that he voluntarily died, so we don't have to. Remember that this act of human history is also the hinge of your human history. And the story that God started writing in creation is going to continue even after the second coming. This act of grace changes how we live both now and forever. We live in light of the Lamb. And we're going to behold the Lamb through worship, and we're going to remember the Lamb through communion. And so I'd love to invite you to stand. And in 4 stations down here, there's going to be communion offered to you. And what you're going to do, if you are a follower of Jesus, if he is your King, your Lord, and your Savior, you're going to come and someone's going to serve you bread and wine, and you're going to take the bread and you're going to dip it and the wine. And the rest of this evening, we're going to be standing and we're going to be worshiping and we're going to be holding the Lamb. And we're going to look at him and we're going to remember his sacrifice. And we're going to echo the words of John the Baptist that said, "Behold, the Lamb of God who takes away the sin of the world." So when you are ready, go to one of these 4 stations and remember the Lamb that was slain.
Above all powers, above all kings, above all nature and all created things, above all wisdom and all the ways of man, you were here before the world began. Above all kingdoms, above all thrones, above all wonders the world has ever known, above all wealth and treasures of the earth, there's no way to imagine the crucified, laid behind the stone. He lived to die, rejected and alone, like a rose trampled on the ground. You took and thought of me. Above all powers, above all kings, above all nature and all created things, above all wisdom and all the ways of man, you were here before the world began. Above all kingdoms, above all thrones, above all wonders this world has known, above all wealth and treasures of the earth, there's no way to measure what you're crucified, laid behind the stone, lived to die, rejected and alone, like a rose trampled on the ground. You took